Hey, 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 and welcome to the Difference Maker Revolution podcast. I got it right this week.
Well done.
There we go. So, Steve, part of the family that we have is it's 3XM, right? The ultimate folio box.
Yes.
And you are the master of teaching photographers how they can increase their sales and deliver more by delivering more value to their clients by using a folio box as part of what they do.
Yes. So a lot of people now are focused on wall art, and that's what I'm teaching. But the folio boxes are that incredible add-on. Not only are they the add-on, but it is the staple diet of the business, because they are much easier to sell. And sometimes we get clients who come in and in their mind they want some wall art, but in the end they love so many more photos than they imagined that they start questioning whether a piece of wall art is the right thing for them. And so it's okay that they swap that for a folio box. And my preference is a folio box because there's no work involved. I don't know about you, but I seem to get people telling me that they have no time. They don't have enough time to make phone calls. They don't have enough time for their family. They don't have enough time for anything, because we do work in a labor-intensive business. And the folio boxes are amazing because, unlike a book, you have to do the page designs. There is so much more work involved in that. So this to me was the go-to. In my business, we were selling 60 boxes a month because almost everybody walked away with one or two.
So before we get into how to sell it and work through it and all those sort of business skills, Steve, I'm really curious about your opinion on this. I'm not sure we've discussed this before, but a lot of what you teach, that we teach, is about, the importance of having the client's transformation on display, right?
Yep.
And often you hear about albums or coffee table books, they're made for the coffee table on the assumption that they end up living there.
Yeah.
But any friend's home I go into, the album is away in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah, you don't see them out.
You don't see it out. While with the 3XM Ultimate Folio Box, it's made to be on display.
And when you go to homes, you do see it out, because I've gone to visit clients' home and you see it out. So it is a constant reminder that it puts your business on show. Whereas with an album, it does tend to get put away in a drawer and forgotten about. And that's it stops that conversation of, hey, where did you get that from? The biggest selling, I suppose, line I had was that I love these because it's a moving work of art. And the way that this has been designed, you can give away one or two photos. I know you probably won't want to, but when grandma comes and forces you to give her one or two of these photos of her grandchildren, then this box still will look complete. And this is what I love especially about your box. And there's one behind you, so just grab it and show people, because this is, to me, one of the biggest selling features of this box. So when you open it, and I don't know whether you've got it full or not, you do, the cover that comes out, and it always looks full. And that can be, you can switch it around. It doesn't matter. You don't need to take it out. But that's interchangeable. And so my selling line of when grandma forces you to give her some of these, this box is still going to look amazing. And it will always look full. But it's also a moving work of art. So because you've loved so many photographs, it means that you can change it up. every week, every month. And in fact, and this is the truth, my children still fight, and I've had it for years, over whose photo's on the front. And so whoever walks past it last seems to swap out their favorite photo of themselves, I've got girls, and put it on the top. And so it then becomes something that is constantly changing, always interesting. We've had people over that said, "Oh, how come there's a different photo in there?" And then it becomes a topic of conversation that I then begin to talk about the photographer, talk about the experience that we had, because I bought it from somebody that uses your product. And we paid a lot of money for it, which I'm really proud that we did. And so it makes me tell them the story of the underwater photography that we had and how we flew to Queensland and how this photographer just took so much time to do it. And that's what you want. You want to turn your clients' homes into a marketing tool for you. So you have to have that professional product that's out on display with your logo on it.
So Steve, when you coach and teach photographers, how to bring a folio box into their business for the first time, what's the first question they ask you?
Oh, so they're like, well, how do I price this, and how am I going to sell this? The reality is that these boxes sell themselves. They just sell themselves. People see it, it's different, and they just want it. It's an easy thing to sell because it doesn't take up a lot of retail space. I love selling it to families, but I also will usually, if I've got a professional, so a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, insurance brokers, real estate agents or realtors in America, I normally sell an extra box to them for their office, because in most cases they want something for their office. They want something that looks quality, that looks value, that fits a level of, what's the word for it? What they're buying is status, right? So they're looking for a piece of status for their room. And so the boxes are incredibly made. Even when you open it, I don't know if everybody noticed, the hinges are beautiful. The velvet behind the actual photograph is beautiful, and they fall in love with it. And so a lot of them don't have a lot of wall space because these days offices are glass fish bowls, right? And they can't display anything on their wall. And so having something they can put on the end of their desk or on a credenza on the side that looks quality, that is of their family, that they can then, and I always refer to it as a treasure box, where they can put their treasures in there. This is their family. They can swap it out. And a lot of those types of clients need to send a message that they're human too. And so what they're trying to do also is to humanize themselves and humanize that office space, because they're so high up in levels that most people begin to feel like they don't have a heart, they aren't human, because they're usually the men with a stick or the person with a stick. And so that's another selling tool, understanding that and knowing that adding this will humanize that area. You don't tell them that. In your mind, you need to know that. And it's a beautiful piece of furniture that they can add to their office. And I don't know why I brought that up. What was the question?
The question I think we were discussing was what was the first thing when you're coaching photographers how to market and price and sell. a treasure box, what the approach is. And so you mentioned earlier that one of the other things they ask about is pricing, right? And I know we're not going to mention specific prices, but you do have a methodology for how to approach that.
Yeah, well, the boxes, we used to sell them, and we picked sort of what we wanted that price to be, using our multiple and adding our cost of doing business to it. And they're just so profitable. They're so profitable because the boxes fit 15, 20, 30. Is it maximum 30 now?
Yeah, maximum 30, yeah.
Maximum 30. So depending upon the depth of the box, you can put a filler in the box. We worked it out at, because we thought most people, the way we photographed and the way we, I don't know what all these little insignias are.
It's reading your hands, I think, and putting up things.
Where are all those bubbles coming from? I thought it was a fish there for a minute. The way most, now I've lost my train of thought. With the pricing, the way we photographed, most people had 20 to 22 favorites, right? And we really focused on people choosing their favorites, not eliminating and not whistling away. So we really focused on people choosing their favorites. And so most people would have about 20 to 22 favorites. So we priced our box at 15 photos for the price of 10. And we know that we wanted around about that $2,000 mark. And some people are doing it, $2,500, $2,900. Some people are at $1,950, and everyone's, pricing it differently. Ours was around that $2,000 mark. And how we did it was we priced it at 15 for the price of 10. So if you ordered 15 of those photographs, you get them for the price of 10. So our 8x10s were 200. And so it came out to $2,000 for the box. But the secret is that because they had 22 in there, they're now getting it at that discounted rate, which works out to about 165, 167, something like that. But we programmed it all into ProSelect, so then when you're selecting all of the photos, it would on a per photograph basis work out what the total was. And so if they're buying it, if they buy more than 15 photographs, they get it at that reduced rate. Plus, they get the box included as part of their gift because they bought as part of a reward. And the box, and we used to tell our clients that the box was worth $600 on its own. If they wanted to purchase the box by itself, they could, but it was a $600 product. So they're getting that value on top. So if they're ordering 22, we don't mention 15 for the price of 10 because in their head, they then believe they have to reduce. And that's why we would often sell 2-3 boxes to clients because, often there would be 30 or 40 photographs that they love. So we would just tot it up. But if they're then getting, oh my God, that's so expensive, I can't afford it, let's take out some, it sort of puts the brakes on. Because once they hit 15, they get the box, which is valued at $600, plus they get it at the reduced rate, 15 for the price of 10. If they then reduce it to 14, they're now paying full price for 14 photos. And so that then makes the price jump all the way back up. 14 times 200 is?
2,800.
2,800. Yeah. So they're on a mission to save money, but then suddenly by reducing one more, it jumps up. Now, our clients were very we were very upfront with our prices. They knew exactly how much the prices were before they came in. We reiterate it when they walk in. We reiterate it again as they're waiting to see their photos. We're upfront with it as they're purchasing. And so somebody that has put 22 photos in a shopping cart, and they're at that I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000 mark, to then come down to 2,000. For them, that's a huge saving, and it sort of put the brakes on, because they then lose the box, and they suddenly, the price jumps up, and so it almost guaranteed that we sold a portrait box almost every time.
And Steve, a key thing you mentioned there is the intention that it's not if they're going to buy a folio box. All the favorites are going into the folio box.
Well, our assumption is if they've marked it as a favorite that they would love, this is an incredible way to have everything that you love all in one place. And so the treasure box was an incredible way for them to have something on display, especially for people who start talking about the fact that, I don't like big photos of myself. We don't have, what are we going to do with all these photos? We don't want them all over the house. It's an incredible way for them to have their photos and a way to showcase each and every one of them because it can be swapped out.
And then the work is done, right? That you're not designing an album. You're not trying to proof designs to the client. You're not trying to complicate things.
And we would just send it away and have it printed, and it would come back all with the mat and everything. It's fantastic. No work. The box comes complete. It's that one thing that on the lead up to Christmas, we would pre-order. Usually I would have 100 boxes on hand because that's that one thing that I knew we would sell a lot of. And especially on the lead up to Christmas, it's that one luxury product that when we ran out of time to be printing wall art for people as Christmas presents, as something that they wanted on display, it was that one thing that we could shoot right up until the second week of December, and still, because we had them in stock, have something that they could have there for Christmas. Now, even if they wanted wall art and that wasn't ready by Christmas, they were so excited that they could have the folio box. Now, I know turnaround times are much better now. People probably don't have to pre-order. What is the turnaround time now?
It's 12 working days anywhere in the world, Steve.
So they could potentially be photographing. Is that fully filled or like?
Yes, that's fully filled. Yes, yeah.
So it's a no-brainer. Like you could be shooting up until the 10th, maybe, of December.
I think our cutoff for guaranteed pre-Christmas is normally around the 6th or thereabouts of December.
Yeah, but you would do it up until the 12th, surely. Wouldn't you, Ronan? I'm getting into trouble now.
I'm not moving the goalposts, because then people will bring us on the 19th and say, is there any chance?
I would never say, is there any chance? We know you can do this for us, Ronan, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the biggest mistake people make is that people is A, they're getting their clients to eliminate or compare or whittle away. The next thing they're doing is, once they've got a whole heap of photos in the favorites folder, they panic because now they're thinking, what am I going to do? Or I've heard this countless times. They stand up and say, well, what do you want to do with all these photos? And clients have no idea. They just don't. And so the knee-jerk reaction of a client is, this is too hard, just give me the files.
Yeah.
And the minute somebody stands up and says, what do you want to do with all these photos? It sparks the digital file avalanche. As opposed to, oh my God, this is incredible. We've got so much to work with. This is the perfect product for you. This is what I would do with all of these photographs, and assume, and this is the big thing, assume they want it. Because most people just want a solution. They don't want problems. They don't want you to create a problem for them to solve. They're relying on you to give them a solution.
Yeah, it's like going into hiring an architect or maybe an interior designer, and you say, they do their interview and they figure out what you want to do and what you want to achieve and all that, and then they come back with 64 different types of wallpaper and say, which one do you think will go best for what you want to do? I'm hiring an expert. I want you to tell me what I should do. Just tell me which one meets the criteria.
I'm kind of the same when I go to a restaurant. They come out with this menu that looks like a Bible. And you think, I'm just not eating here. Just tell me what's the most popular thing on the menu, or just surprise me. I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
So people want solutions, and I think in many cases we make it hard. I think the other mistake people make is that they assume, like and I fell for this too. I was this person who made this mistake. For 12 years, I did. It's almost like you want to get through that doorway and you keep banging your head on the door, but you refuse to open it, right? Just keep banging your head. And it took me 12 years of banging my head to realize that when people are ordering artwork and it's their favorite photos, it's the ones they love the most that they want to put in their wall, how dare we assume that they don't want that as part of their portrait box? And I see it, we fell for it, and I see so many other people assume that maybe they've used 5 or 10 or 15 photographs to create wall collections, and they assume that the clients won't want that. And that usually makes up the second box that they're about to order.
Yeah.
So assume they want it, let them tell you that they don't.
It sounds so easy, Steve, and so simple. And as we say before, common sense was misnamed. It is basic common sense. Just
common sense is not common.
Yeah. Assume that your clients want it.
12 years of banging my head to realize. But once we assumed and once we believed that people, it's obvious, it's your favorite photo. Why would you not want one of your favorite photos in this? Because in many cases, that becomes the legacy for their family, right? Once we believed people wanted it, then we sold so many extra copies and extra folio boxes because we weren't taking it away from someone. And what we were doing is we didn't give them an option, and we took it away from them without allowing them permission or giving them permission to have a copy of that in their folio box, their favorite photos.
And I think that's the key thing too, Steve, their favorite photos, that all the photos that they love are their favorite photos, that you don't have, the way you see some people going, well, I don't like that one, or are you sitting on the fence about it, or do you like it,
or they use language like, is this in or out? Is this a yes, no, or a maybe? So now on every photograph, they're having to make 3 decisions as opposed to 1 decision. What do you think of this one? Do you love this one?
Yeah.
What do you love about this photograph? As opposed to, is this in or out? And the clients remember the last word you say. And usually people are finishing with out or maybe. So they should be choosing their favorites, not eliminating.
So I'm trying to think of what other question I might have as a photographer about a folio box.
You were going to ask me, do I need one on display?
Well, yes, I was. I know the answers, but I'm going to let you answer.
Well, I believe that, I know that in the studios that I've designed, and I've designed well over 1,000 studios now, we place 3 folio boxes in each studio because we want to seed the sale all the way through. And so when a studio has a welcome area, that first place that they are welcomed, we need a folio box there. Usually there's 2 because it's usually an area of sitting down, and then it allows us to switch up genres. We tend to put one, obviously, in the design consultation room. I like to have one on the coffee table right in front of the clients, because those dove personalities, those people that make decisions based on feelings, will be constantly looking down as they're making decisions. And the folio box is right in their line of sight because it's a product that I want to sell. It's also within their reach because those type of people love to touch and feel the product. And then usually we would have one, again, either in the hallway, just outside the door of the studio where they're being photographed. And we would normally have another one in the sales room on a credenza so that we can showcase what it would look like on a piece of furniture. So there's 5 or 6 possible places. In my head, 3 are sort of crucial: that welcome area near the entrance to the studio, and then in the sales room on the coffee table. They're the crucial ones. I'm glad you asked me that, Ronan. I would have.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked yourself it, Steve. Truly, well done. But come here, tell me this. I've heard you teach as well that it's a way to put in the client's mind a reason to come back again.
Yes. So because it's there in front of them all of the time, the clients are constantly reminded of you, and they get lots of questions from their friends and family. And so you're top of mind all of the time. Now, with the folio boxes, it's brilliant because it's an easy way for them to come back and not feel as though every wall in their room, in their home, is taken up by wall art every time they come. It's that solution that only requires one photograph to be displayed, but they can have so many things. And so when a family comes in, you sell them that. Usually what would happen, our sequence was family would book in. We always had some boudoir photography on display somewhere in the studio. And they normally the guy would stop, the husband would stop and look at it and would say, would you like to, for you and your wife to come back and do something like that, or your wife to come back and do something like that. And the folio box is that safe place to say, well, you could get, because, but where would we put that? The kids. Well, look at this product. This is what we do with our boudoir clients. Now, we would always sell wall art to them in the end. But that initial inquiry sometimes required that piece of wall, the folio box, for us to plant those seeds and to get them to come back again. Now, sometimes it was a boudoir of just her, and then that would turn into the next one of a couple's boudoir session. And then normally after that, they would come back for branding headshots. And so usually we would get a client to come back 4 times within a 2-year period. And the folio box was instrumental in making that happen. And our belief.
Yes.
Our belief that they deserve to have this.
Yes.
That's crucial too.
Thank you so much, Steve, for sharing your amazing knowledge on how a treasure box can add so much value to your clients and indeed add value to you as the business owner. So if you want to know more, no, I know you want to know more. You do want to know more, right? About the ultimate folio box, treasure box. So what you need to do is go visit our sister company, 3xmsolution.com, right? And the friendly client happiness team of Tim and Zena and Neve and myself are there. Just reach out to us in that chat bubble, and we'll have a conversation to see how we can help you take the ultimate treasure box into your business to deliver extra value to your clients and indeed bring extra reward to you and your business.
And there's no obligation on how many you have to buy if you make that phone call, is there, Ronan?
No, absolutely not. So thank you for joining us on this Difference Maker Revolution podcast. Steve and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye for now.